It's in our last class, we discussed what is language, what different features are connected with the language, then how language support us. Just we start comparing language with life. With the thing that we have to realize what means language is a part of life. Like you can take the example. Your life is running, and if you don't have the language, if you don't have the communication, if you don't have any mediums, then how can you make your life productive? Everyone who has the life, they are using the language, but their language use might be different. For example, we human beings use language consciously. We human beings can use the language by context. For example, at your home, you use one sorts of language. With your teacher, you use another sorts of language. With your colleagues, with your siblings, with your juniors, with your seniors, like whenever you are in the party palace, whenever you are in the school, whenever you are in like any parks or any other things. Here we use what? We use the language. But at the time, we know, we human being can know the language consciously. That means what? We have the purposeful use of the languages. We can know the situation and by which we can use the language. But in another part, like animal, in animal communication, there are some terms of limited signs, limited symbols by which they can communicate some messages. Like just you can take the example of bee communication. Like there are the several examples of given call. Like we also talked last in our last class, like there is the meaning in the ba of the cow. There is meaning in the y of the what? Buffalo. There is the meaning in the chi of the birds. This means what? They are communicating some concern of the concept they want. These are the things we discussed in our last class. And today, we're also discussing about some of the major aspects of the language and how they are being integrated in the linguistics. Especially today, we are focusing two views. The language from the views of the modern linguist, Ferdinand de Saussure, who is known as the father of the modern linguistics. And similarly, we are also discussing the views on language by Noam Chomsky, one of the greatest linguists, one of the living linguists in the world. And recently, like last year, we celebrated his birthday together. Last year, we celebrated the birthday of Noam Chomsky together. From Nepal, we also get participated. This is one of the living linguists in the world. So we are discussing these two views today. How Ferdinand de Saussure, because these are the linguists of like Ferdinand de Saussure is also the linguist of 20th century, and this Noam Chomsky from 20th to this 21st century. Like what they focus, like one is the structural and there is the generativist. Means how they talk about the language, how they discuss the different features of language. That let me see at the first, and then we discuss more. Are you seeing my screen? If you see my screen, please raise your hands. Okay. So we are discussing on what means in language systems and language behavior. Last class we discussed in language system and in the language behavior, there might be different variables, different concerns, because system is one part, behavior is another part. So at the first you have to know what is the system and what is the behavior, how the system is connected. Means system is what? System is the general part. System is the principle. System is the ethics. System is the value. You have to understand. So system is that whole overall plan. This is called the system. And system is defined as the meaningful unit. That meaningful unit which connects to the other units. That means this is the value. This is the ethics. This is the like a whole holistic overview of something. That is called the system. And next part is the behavior. Means this is the system one part, behavior another part. I know something. That's not enough. If I know that thing, I need to do something. So understanding this part, system is know, behavior is do. Did you get my point? System is know and behavior is do. So this means what? Behavior relates with our activities. Behavior relates with our process. And system relates with the principles. So how these principles can be processed? These are two things that we have to see. Language has the system. Language has the principle. Language has some terms of value, some terms of ethics. Then how can we apply this? That's why system especially recommends the ideas, what we need to do. And behavior especially do that ideas. It is related with doing of something. That's why behavior related with ourselves. So just take yourself. You have the system. You have your mind. You have your society. You have your personal life. You have your family life. You have your academic life. These all things are running in the system. Then how do you behave yourself? How do you behave with your parents? How do you behave with your teachers? How do you behave with your friends? And close friends and only friends. How do you behave? That is related with these things. With the cases, language system guides to the different activities that we do in the language. So the language system is known as the guideline. This is the major guideline. This is the general guideline. And language behavior is the production of that. Activities that we concern on this. These things we are going to discuss. Let's take one simple example yourself. You are the system yourself. When you are defining system, you have to start defining from you. You are the system yourself. Then what you do? Then you can define the system and the behaviors. Your all activities are the behavior. And you are the system. You have the eye. Yes, you have the eyes. What you do from your eyes, you see the things. You have ears. What you do with your ears, you will listen to things. You have hands. What you do? You do namaskar. You do bye-bye. Then you can fight. Then what you can do by your hands? You can pick up something. You can drop something. This is what? This is the behavior. Yes, this is the behavior. That's why behavior is connected with the activities that we do. And system is the overall guideline for that one, and that we are discussing today. With this thing, just know. So behavior, language system and behavior is connected with the social entity. Because this is the social poverty. You are yourself the social poverty. We are in the society. Where is the system? System is in the society. Where do we behave? We behave in the society. Just take one example. You come to the college, and there are some regulations, there are some ethics, there are some guidelines, there are some like some defining roles. Then how do you behave yourself? Just a simple example of wearing uniform. Students need to wear the uniform. This is what one system. Then behavior is what? Either you wear uniform or not. You come to your class with your uniform or not. This is your behavior. But uniform needs to be owned by the students. This is the system. Like for this online class, just check. Students need to come at 7. They have to present in classroom formally. They have to write their own name. They should not provide their shadow name in the Zoom class. They have to participate in the activities. They need to interact with the teachers. They need to interact with the friends. These are what? System. Then behavior is what? Either you participate in that activities or not. Do you come at 7 or not? This is your activity. Do you write down your real name there or not? This is another activity. Do you interact with teachers and students with friends or not? This is also activity. So in this way, this language system and the behavior is connected with the society. That's why this is the social entity. And next thing is psychological perception. Yes, how do you take something? What's your attitude towards something? This is also there is also the system. A system works there. Sometimes you may be interested or sometimes you may not be interested. Oh, I'm not interested in these online classes. Why to take these online classes? This is what your system is working and your behavior is suggesting you these things. Oh, online class. I agree with this. I entertain online class than to the physical classes. This is also your attitude. Your system is defining this thing. Your ethics, your guidelines are defining these things. Then you are acting in the way. So understand that system provide the guidelines and behavior acts. Behavior acts. Like just take one example. In my psychological perception or in my attitude, our teaching online is good. Teaching online is good. I need to teach my students in this pandemic situation. All people are being affected by coronavirus and we have to run our classes. This is my attitude. This is my perception. Then I start doing the work. Yes. Oh, this is corona. Everywhere people are suffering. People are being affected. Oh, but I am not psychologically ready. I cannot teach. This is also what? That is my behavior. That's why my behavior is determined by my attitude, how I see the things. Similarly, language system is highly regarded towards the social phenomenon that we connected with the social entity also. And next thing, actualization. And this actualization is highly related towards your behavior. The social phenomena is related with the system because this is one of the social component that is determined by the society, that is the social norms, social values, social realities. That is one part. That is called a system. And in another part, you can see the actualization. This actualization means whatever you do. Either you are doing or not. If someone asks you, likewise, what is linguistics? This process is really connected with the system. Then what is linguistics? Then if you know linguistics, then you talk, oh, linguistic is this. Linguistic does blah, 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 blah. This is what? This is your actualization. So actualization means that is the doing. And next thing, very important thing for the case of the language system and the behavior is the language use. In which context we are using the language. In which context the language is referred to be used. I admitted Jarana several times says coming and going. Okay, no worry for that. Okay. So there is the high connection towards the use. That means, are you using the language according to the context or not, there is the system. You can be able to use the language as per the situation. What the situation is, you need to understand it first. Okay, then now we are talking about the concept that I told you last time, and I asked you to read that material from page number days to days. Did I tell you or not? Raise your hands. Okay, so did you read this? Can anyone express something? Unmuting yourself. Jarana Neupani. Hello, Jarana, are you listening me? I think your internet is weak. And anyone, Lasmi Rakhal, are you listening me? Lasmi Rakhal.
Sir.
Okay, so did you read about this long and parole?
No, sir, I was not there in class.
Oh, so be regular. Priyanka? Priyanka? So can I ask Resma, did you read? Resma Buddha?
Yes, sir.
So what did you understand? Please, could you share with your friends? What is your understanding on long and parole?
Language behavior and language system and other.
Yes, good, good. So did you find the differences between long and parole here when you read this information?
Language behavior, language system, please, sir.
Yes, so in long and parole.
Different.
Okay, anyway.
मैले बुझेको नै भन्छु है सर.
Yes, sure. Yes, that's the way. Okay, go on, please.
System is language system is no, but language behavior is do. And language system is the process of language, but language behavior is how to do. And language system is the society of language. And language behavior is the how to use the language system. Sir,
okay, thank you. So I clap your ideas. That's nice. You connected. Okay. So similarly, whenever you talked about language system and language behavior, yes. So this long is the part of the language system. And this parole is the part of language behavior. So to understand this concept, to understand the concept of language and parole, you have to understand the concept of language system and language behavior. And this concept was introduced by Ferdinand de Saussure, and he's one of the modern linguists, or linguist of the 20th century. And in the concept of structural linguistics, when he was defining language, he talked about long and parole. This means with the system of long and parole, we can define language system and language behavior. That is his claim. With this regard, we have one concept, long. So what is long one? So by this thing, I want to ask Lasmi Rakhal, please read the points which are written under the long. Could you write? Could you read?
Okay, yes. Sir.
Okay.
Language of system.
Yes.
Abstract principle of language, elements of language.
Yes.
Work of collective intelligence, Internal
Okay.
capacity of individual system.
Okay, very good. Yes, thank you. So long is what? Long is the total system of language. Yes, it is the total system of the language. And what comes in the system means there is phonology, there is like phonetics, grammar, meaning, different things might be connected with the system of the language. And that long refers about this. That must be in your storehouse. The thing, the system must be well covered in the mind of the people. They must know, they must think, because this principle is guided by the view of the structuralist view. By the structuralist view, it is told that language learning is the behavioral. It is connected with the behavior shaping. To shape the behavior, at the first, we must have some guidelines of the behavior shaping. We must know the system, and within the system, we have to go. Just for example, you know about like use of articles. In the use of article, you have to go through the process of knowing the rules and in which context we can use yeah and the. You have to know this. This is what this is connected with your knowing behaviors. That's why it is called what? This is abstract. Long is abstract, means it is invisible concept. That is inner concept. That is in us. We everyone has the concept of the long because that is inside of us. System is inside of us. System is not visible. System always works inside. What is in me, that's my system. That's why it is called the abstract principle of the language. And this abstract principle of language are connected with the elements of language, the elements that we talked, phonology, grammar, meaning, like morphology, syntax. These different things are what? Elements of the language. In the language, we learn grammar. In the language, we learn sound system, phonetics, and phonology. In the language, we learn meaning, that is called semantics. In the language, we learn about sign systems. This is what? Semiotics. So, in these all things, these all variables are inside the mind of the people, are in of the people. That must be what? That is called the long. So, the long refers about the inner capacity of each one that we have. So this is the abstract concept. So this is another point. It is called the collective intelligence. Yes, what you have collected in your mind, what you have collected in your system. The mind is not defined as the mind. It is defining as the collection of the system. Mind is defined as the system. You have to be in the system in the first, and system is in you. As you, everyone has the system of learning, system of putting something, system of keeping something. Just take one example. In this time, here is pandemic, and the schools are closed, colleges are closed, the market is closed, and lockdown. Yes, this is the lockdown period. For this one, what we do? We need to store something. Oh, I need this amount of rice. I need this amount of these things. बजारमा गएर 4 बोरा चामल ल्याएर राख्यो, मसला ल्याएर राख्यो, अरू खाने चिज ल्याएर राख्यो। किन भन्दा लकडाउन हुँदैछ, म बजार जान सक्दैन, लकडाउन छ, बजार जान मिल्दैन। औ त्यो जो स्टोर गरेर राख्यो नि, त्यो स्टोर गरेर राख्ने प्रोसेस केमा जान्छ? लङमा जान्छ के। अब that is what means we are storing this, we are making the system. That's what I need to know. मलाई कति जान्नु पर्छ त, मैले कति थाहा पाउनु पर्छ त मैले स्टोर गरेर राख्नु पर्यो नि त। That I have to keep inside of me. This is the process of the long. That's why long refers about the internal process, or that's why it is called internal capacity of individual. Yes, everyone has the internal capacity. Like I may be interested in dancing. My internal capacity may be related to the dancing, but my parents are forcing me, you have to be a teacher. But my internal capacity is telling, oh, I want to be a social worker in the society. I want to work. But someone is putting you into pressure. Yes, you have to work. Yes, like this, you have to be like doctor. You have to be engineer. Like you have to be some kinds of. You have to involve in the profession. But I don't like to be in the profession. I want to be the social worker. Then at the time, what kinds of activities I can do? That's why what is inside of you, your internal capacity is called what? Whole system. And human being has the system, and this system is related towards our internal capacity, or in which capacity I am perfect to do something, in which capacity I have the ability to do something. This is what? Internal capacity. That's why long is the concept of internal capacity that is within us and that is invisible, that is abstract. देखिँदैन, हामी भित्रै हुन्छ, हाम्रो इन्टरनलाइज क्यापासिटी हो त्यो। मैले यति ग्रामर थाहा पाउनुपर्छ, यति मिनिङ थाहा पाउनुपर्छ, यसको स्ट्रक्चर यस्तो हुन्छ, हामीलाई थाहा छ नि त। Like if someone asks you, describe this room, then you start telling, this room has 4 windows, this room has 1 door. You begin to tell this thing, but you don't tell, this room had 4 windows. You don't tell had 4 windows. You tell has 4 windows, because you are telling this because your system is working. You know that whenever I'm describing something, I have to describe this in present simple tense. That concept you have. That's why long is the concept. Understand this. Did you get my point? Long is the concept that is in us. This is called the system. Okay. Then similarly, next part, parole. So what is it then? I'm asking Sadani Lamichani, are you hearing me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, could you read this?
Parole uses of the system, language, behavior, individual act, contextual distinction process.
Okay, so what differences you get in them? This means what? These two parts are what? Interrelated or not? Like one talks about the system and the talks about usage of the system. How can I actively do the activities? So parole is related with doing. What should I do? There is one system. Within the system, what should I do? That's why this is called what? Parole is the activity. Parole is to do that whatever we told. Language system and language behavior. System is the long, behavior is the parole. I don't think to talk more about this because we talked more. It talks about how can I use, how can I actualize the activities? How can I do the activities on this? So for this, with this regard, it is the matter of the language behavior, how I present myself. Individually act, yes, so what I do. Yes, likewise, you are interested in dancing. Oh, your concept is what? I want to be a dancer. Then you begin to dance. This is what? Parole. Like your internal idea is talking about, yes, I want to be a teacher and I want to teach to the students. Then that's your concept. Then you begin to teach your students in the school. That's what? Parole. So parole means that is the actual activities. Like someone can ask, okay, write down 5 sentences, write down 5 sentences in past perfect tense. Then if you have the system there, then you can write the 5 sentences in present past perfect tense. Otherwise, not. That's why what is in you, that must be provided. That must be taken out. जो आफूभित्र छ त्यसलाई बाहिर निकाल्ने हो कि भित्र कलेक्सन गरेर राख्ने प्रोसेस के हो लङ हो भने त्यो भित्र कलेक्सन गरेर राखेकोलाई चाहिएको बेला निकाल्ने प्रोसेस के हो parole. Did you get my point? Yes. So this parole is the activity oriented or action oriented process. So Another thing is they're called the contextual distinction. Yes. Like what sorts of language we have to use with someone that we talked. You are using the language. Language at home and language at school, language at the college, language with the teacher, language with your parents, language with your friends, language with, if you have language with your children, that's different. Well, if you have married, language with your husband and language with your wife, that is different. That is what? Contextual distinction. So by the context we can use, the language. This means what? This we can do in the activities. So हामीले एक्टिभिटीमा गर्ने हो नि त. But everything that about the system of the language that that is in your mind. But what to use, how to use, when to use, that you have to know. That is in the parole, and parole guide this thing. That's why parole is totally depend upon the language activities. That's why it is called the language behavior. If you have any questions, so if you don't have any questions, if you are clear with the concept, please raise your hands. And if you have any questions on this, you can put. Okay. I did not find any questions from you, and I did not find your hand raising also. Can we proceed? Can we go on? If yes, raise your hands. If yes, raise your hands. Okay, and similarly, we need to talk about another concept in language system and behavior, that is the competence and performance. And I think there you also found in that what is competence and what is performance, that I told you. The concept of long and parole is introduced by Fourier and de Saussure, and the concept of competence and performance is introduced by Noam Chomsky. And this long and parole talks about more about the language systems, but competence and performance talk more about the cognitive abilities related with the mind, your cognition, your level of intelligence. Just you can take the example of the reserve tank. Like the reserve tank is full of the water, and there might be several taps. Yes, we can use these taps. Yes, like for this. Likewise here, this is one of the reserve tank, and this is filled up with what water? Like suppose there is the water, here is water, it is filled up with the water. Yes, it is filled up with the water, and suppose this is the tank. Yes, and this whole part is known as what? Competence. What level of knowledge do you have? How many ideas you have in your mind? How much you observe in your mind about something? This is what? This whole process is known as the competence. Then for this, you have to take one concept from here. Yes, one concept from here. Then you use here, another concept from here, and you use here, like concept A, like here is concept B, like another concept you taken from here, and you use here concept C, like another concept you bring from here, concept D. This means what? You are using as per your choices. So this is your wall. That's why it is called competence, is known as the underlying linguistic ability. This is your ability. This is your ability which is inside of us. This is your whole ability. You can do these things. But you have to distribute these things. So Competency is the overall your known factors, your cognitive factors. हामीलाई कति थाहा छ, हाम्रो माइन्डमा के छ भन्ने कुरा कम्पिटेन्स हो कि. That's why competence is the underlying that is in our subconscious mind. त्यो हाम्रो सबकन्सियस माइन्डमा हुन्छ. जस्तो हाम्रो माइन्डको कुरा गर्दाखेरि when we are talking about the mind, this whole mind, our 90% mind is in the subconscious field, and only 10% mind is in the conscious field. Oh, your 90% mind ma ke cha ta? What is in us? This is the fact in the competence. So the competency is the cognitive ability that is in the mind, that is like a reservoir. So it is, and the fact it is called that knowledge on the language system, phonology, grammar, meaning. So how much knowledge you gained from that? What is the level of the knowledge you are getting from that? हामीसँग फोनोलोजीको कति नलेज छ, ग्रामरको कति नलेज छ, मिनिङ रिलेटेड कति नलेज छ भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ त्यसले हेर्छ कि. That's why this is the whole system of gaining of the knowledge in the mind. That is process in the mind. Now with the concept of there is concept of LAD, language acquisition device. With the concept is guided. Yes, we have the language acquisition device, and by which we can operate, we can go. That is the internalized capacity of everyone human beings, and that we have. This is especially referred by what? Our internal capacity. So competence is the process of knowing. And similarly, just you can see next part is the performance. And performance means what? Actualization of the linguistic ability. हामीलाई थाहा भएर मात्र भएन नि, गर्नु पर्यो के. You have to do. मलाई यति थाहा छ भनेर बसेर हुन्छ त? होइन नि त. मलाई यति थाहा छ भनेपछि मैले त्यो काम गर्नु पर्यो नि त. That's why it is called the act based, output based. What is my output? If I ask you what is language, you may think, oh, मलाई language भनेर पनि थाहा छ, linguistic भनेर पनि थाहा छ, semantics भनेर पनि थाहा छ भन्यो. तर कसैले सोध्दाखेरि what is language भने बेला त आफूले भन्न सक्नु पर्यो नि त. त्यो भन्न सक्नु के हो त? Performance हो. Can I say something or not? Can I act or not? This is the performance. That's why performance is called doing. Competence is knowing, performance is doing. And this is wholly the cognitive concept. That is the concept connected with the mind. That's in your mind. There are many things in the mind, and with these many things, you have to bring something. Just you can take this example of the water tank. Or like this is your whole internalized system. यो भित्रबाट जति चाहिन्छ त्यति हामीले ओकल्ने हो नि त. जति चाहिन्छ त्यति मात्र ओकल्ने हो कि. नचाहिने कुरा हामी चाहिँ ओकल्दैनौँ. त्यो ओकल्ने प्रोसेस के हो? पर्फर्मेन्स हो. भित्र लएर राख्ने प्रोसेस के हो? कम्पिटेन्स हो. जस्ट यु क्यान टेक वन एक्जाम्पल. I think you all cook food. हामी सबै खाना पकाउँछौँ होला नि है. अब खाना पकाउँदाखेरि त्यो थैलोमा भएको अथवा कन्टेनरमा राखेको सबै चामल एकैचोटि भाँडामा हाल्छौँ हामीले? हाल्दैनौँ नि त. जति चाहिन्छ त्यति हाल्छौँ. एकजना छ भने आधा कप हालौँला, 10 जना छ भने 5 कप हालौँला, 20 जना छ भने 12 कप हालौँला. त्यो अनुसार पकाउँछौँ नि हामीले. हो, त्यो कप कति कप हाल्ने भन्ने प्रोसेस के हो त? पर्फर्मेन्स हो. र त्यो जो स्टोर गरेर राखेको चामल छ त्यो चामल के हो त? कम्पिटेन्स हो के. त्यो बोरामा भएको चामल, त्यो कन्टेनरमा भएको चामल के हो? कम्पिटेन्स हो. र त्योबाट कति चाहिन्छ? मलाई 1 मुठी चाहिन्छ कि 2 मुठी चाहिन्छ कि 3 मुठी चाहिन्छ कि? जति चाहिन्छ मैले त्यसलाई युज गर्छु, जति चाहिन्छ मैले त्यसलाई प्रयोगमा ल्याउँछु भने त्यो के हो? कम्पिटेन्स हो. This is the matter about competence and performance. That's why the competency is the overall reserve of the knowledge that is stored, that is the storehouse that is stored in the mind. Then performance is the actualization, that whatever we do, doing of the activities. This is called the performance. Okay. Then now, our next very important thing I want to tell you. Yes. I have these three processes of learning. In case of the process of language system, learning of the language system, we have the three processes: input, intake, and output. The input ke ta? Just so you can take the example of now here. I'm talking you about long and parole. I'm talking with competence and performance. I'm talking about your language. I'm providing you the input. This is the input. So how much you take? How much you take? This is called what? Intake. Within this intake, there is what? Competence and long. So intake ma ke huncha? Long र competence huncha के. Long कसो concept हो? Concept of sasu. Competence कसो concept हो? Concept of Chomsky. This means what? Long talks about more about the language systems. Competence talks about the knowledge in the mind. About this. What I check. I'm giving you something, and how much you take, you put in your mind. Yes, you put in your mind. This is called what? Long and competence. Long and competence related with the intake process. Intake. With the input. Just the input, the intake हुन्छ नि. Like you are reading books. You are getting knowledge from there. Input कहाँबाट आयो? Bookबाट आयो. You are reading articles. You are listening the lectures from the teachers. You are having interaction with the friends. You are talking with someone. This is what? This is called the input. Then how much you take? This is called the intake. And next thing, output. जति कुरा हामीले लग्यौं त्यो सबै हामीले ओकल्नु पर्छ भन्ने छैन नि त. जति चाहिन्छ हामीले त्यति ओकल्छौं. त्यो के हो त? परल. त्यो के हो? Performance. That's why output is the performance. Out the parole. Intake is the long and the competence. And that rests with what? Rests with the input. What kinds of input we get? Then how much I get? Then how much I use? This is the concept. With this thing. That's why you have to connect this thing. We have to connect with this input, intake, and output with the concept of long and parole and competence and performance. These are the similar concepts. Long and parole, competence and performance. These are the similar concepts, but designed by the different people with the different purposes they define in the different, like one defined in the structural linguistics and the defined in the generative grammar, in the process of generation. Then after, this is about the language system and the language behavior that you know, that we talked. Then after, in your syllabus, there is also one more point that is given about semiotics. Simply, whenever you are talking about semiotics, you have to know that is the theory of sign and symbols. In our last class, I also slightly touched this thing. Just take the example of traffic signs. Whenever we find red light, what we do? When we find green light, what we do? This is what? We understand. Like symbols. We write A, we write B, we write C, we write Ka. These are what? Symbols. So semiotics deal with this sign and the symbols one. That's why semiotics is known as the use of signs. Sign भने के त भन्दा? Sign may be form of the words. Sign may be images, sounds, smell, taste, acts, or objects. सबै के हुन्छ? साइन हुन् के सबैको स्टडी गर्छ ल्याङ्ग्वेजले भने हो के. From the semiotic point of view, language is studied about the sign and the symbols, without which language is not possible. Yes, if you cannot use the symbol, like why can't you use the Japanese language? Why can't you use the Korean language? Why can't you use the Chinese language? Because we don't know the symbols of that language. We don't know the signs of that language. If we know these things, then we can use. So in the process of the semiotics, there at the first we have to know the sign and symbols. And these sign and symbols are used in the communication. They are in the process of the communication. So we can say there is one of the producer. Producer might be speaker, might be writer. The speaker पनि हुन सक्छ, writer पनि हुन सक्छ. And there is the receiver. A receiver may be the reader, a receiver may be the listener. Like there is the channel, how it is going on. Like there is the message. Just take example of this class now here. I'm talking about semiotics. I'm the producer. I'm the speaker now. I'm also the writer. I wrote something here. Yes, I'm the producer. I produce this thing. Then you people are listening me. You are what? A receiver. Then we are using Zoom for our classroom. And I'm delivering these ideas through Zoom. And I'm using this PowerPoint presentation. This is what? Channel. We are using this channel. Then message. What is semiotics? We are gaining about the ideas of semiotics. The semiotics को बारे हामीले कुरा गरिरहेका छौं नि त मेसेज हो यो प्रोसेस चाहिँ केमा हुन्छ सेमियोटिक्समा हुन्छ के whenever we are using the language whenever you are having communication we follow this process. Then now this is very important thing. In case of the semiotics you have to understand these three terms. Yes, you have to understand these three terms here. It is very important to understand these three terms. Okay, so here I am finding people. Is there no boy to the class today? No boys? Is there no boys in the class today?
No, sir.
Oh, only girls.
Yes, sir.
So girls class. Yes. Okay, so we did not read. Okay, Bobby, the Bobby or Bobby Lamichani. Are you Bobby or Bobby?
Bobby.
Yes, Bobby Lamichani. So could you read these three terms which are here? Three terms. You are finding three terms. Could you read what are these three terms? Sign, signified, and signifier. Yes, you have to know these three concepts in semiotics. Semiotics मा तीनटा concept हामीले जान्न बहुत जरुरी हुन्छ है. And this is highly focused by Ferdinand de Saussure and other linguists as well. भनेपछि what is sign? What is signified and what is signifier? There is the connection of these things. Like here, you can see just now, beforehand you see sign, signified, and signifier, and you are seeing some lines here. Then now I add another part there. अब हामी के बुझ्छौं त भन्दा signified र signifierले signलाई क्लियरिफाई गर्छ भने हो नि त हैन signified र signifier भनेको sign भित्रको कन्सेप्ट हो. They are the concept inside of this. A sign may be any image. हामीले अघि भनिसक्यौं. Sign can be image, sign can be text, sign can be smell, sign can be letter, sign can be any symbols or signs. That can be any sign भने जे पनि हुन सक्छ. So for this thing, and there we have to understand sign is the smallest unit of the meaning. The smallest unit of the meaning. Then this meaning is determined by these two concepts. Yes, just now. Yes. Like here you can see signified. Yes, you can see the signified here. Okay, so I'm using the pen here. Yes, like here you can see this signified here. And next thing signifier here. Yes, these two concepts you are getting, and these two concepts are defining the sign. Yes, these two concepts define the sign. Means to create or define a sign, we have to need these two pieces. One piece is the signified, and the piece is the signifier. भनेपछि just take one example. Likewise, whenever I show you, what is this? यो के हो त? This is, are you seeing? What is this?
Pen.
Yes, it's the pen. Pen भन्ने हामीले कन्सेप्ट बन्यो नि हैन? We make the concept of pen. जो यो पेन चाहिँ मैले फिजिकल्ली रूपमा देखाएँ, अब्जेक्टको रूपमा देखाएँ, त्यो अब्जेक्ट के हो त? सिग्निफाइड हो के? जो रियल अब्जेक्ट हुन्छ नि, आर यु गेटिङ माई पोइन्ट? रियल अब्जेक्ट जो हुन्छ, मेटेरियल जुन फिजिकल फर्ममा हुन्छ, त्यो के हो? सिग्निफायर हो। सिग्निफाइड हैन, सिग्निफायर हो। यो भनेको के हो? सिग्निफायर। जो रियल अब्जेक्ट हुन्छ त्यो के हो त? सिग्निफायर हो। र सिग्निफाइड भन्दा चाहिँ हामी के बुझ्छौँ त भन्दा यसको मिनिङ के हो त? व्हाट इज द मिनिङ? यसले यसको काम के त? यसको मिनिङ के त? लेख्ने, केर्ने, कोतर्ने भन्न सक्छौँ नि हामी। यसको मिनिङ भनेको के हो त? सिग्निफायर हो। यसको सोशल कन्सेप्ट के हो? सोशल कन्सेप्ट के हो? यसको कल्चरल कन्सेप्ट के हो? कल्चरल र सोशल कन्सेप्टसँग सिग्निफाइड गाँसिएको हुन्छ के है। त्यस्तै भनौँ न, पेन भन्दा बित्तिकै हामी के बुझ्छौँ? यस्तो वस्तु देख्दा हामी पेन भन्छौँ। Likewise, whenever I show you this thing, what is this? What is this? Do you see this thing? Are you seeing? Like then after
Pen drive?
yes, pen drive, yes, really. पेन ड्राइभ भन्दा यो के हो त? सिग्निफायर हो के है। यो जब अब्जेक्ट देखाइन्छ, जब वस्तु देखाइन्छ, रियल वस्तु रूपमा प्रेजेन्ट गर्दा के हुन्छ त्यो? दिस इज कल्ड व्हाट? सिग्निफायर। यसको मिनिङ के भनेर हामी खोज्छौँ नि। यसको मिनिङ के त? यसले के काम गर्छ? कम्प्युटरबाट डाटा तान्ने काम गर्छौँ हामी, कम्प्युटरमा डाटा हाल्ने काम गर्छौँ। त्यो के भयो त? सिग्निफाइड भयो के। मिनिङ भनेको सिग्निफाइड हो र त अब्जेक्ट भनेको सिग्निफायर हो हैन। जस्तो just for example, whenever I show you, did you see this? Oh, did you see this? Can you see? What is this? Can you see this or not?
Book?
Yes, book. This is the book. Physical concept हामी के देखायौँ? बुक देखायौँ हैन। बुक भन्दा बित्तिकै हामी के बुझ्छौँ त? यो किताब पढ्नको लागि मिनिङ लगाउन जान्छौँ के। लाइक whenever I show you, what is this?
Stapler.
स्ट्यापलर। हाम्रो कन्सेप्ट जो भन्छ नि माइन्डमा, अब्जेक्ट देख्दा बित्तिकै कन्सेप्ट जो भन्छ त्यो कन्सेप्ट के हो त? सिग्निफाइड हो के। जब अब्जेक्ट देख्छौँ त्यसकारण के हुन्छ भन्दा जो यो हामीले यहाँ साइन देखाएका छौँ, यो माथितिर गएको साइन देखाएका छौँ। लेट मी शो। यस, जो यो माथितिर गएको साइन देखाएका छौँ के हो त? यो साइनतिर गएको छ। सिग्निफायरले सिग्निफाइड गर्छ, सिग्निफाइड सिग्निफायर हुन्छ र यो सबै के सिस्टममा हुन्छ त भन्दा दैट इज इन द साइन सिस्टम। Yes, that is in the science system. Just here you can see. What is this? यो के हो त? What is this? This is the glass.
ग्लासमा पानी हो।
ग्लास हो हैन। अब यो देख्दा चाहिँ हामी के भन्छौँ? ग्लास हो भन्छौँ नि। सरी, यो देख्दा हामी के भन्छौँ? यो ग्लास हो भन्छौँ। त्यो ग्लासको कन्सेप्ट हाम्रो माइन्डमा बस्छ क्या। त्यो कुनै पनि वस्तु देख्दा बित्तिकै त्यसको कन्सेप्ट हाम्रो माइन्डमा बस्छ भनेपछि के हो त भन्दा एउटा साइनलाई केले डिफाइन गर्दो रहेछ त भन्दा साइन इज डिफाइन्ड बाइ सिग्निफायर एन्ड द सिग्निफाइड। डोन्ट फर्गेट दिस टु कन्सेप्ट। साइन इज द स्मलेस्ट युनिट अफ मिनिङ, स्मलेस्ट युनिट अफ मिनिङ हो, एन्ड द्याट इज डिफाइन्ड बाइ सिग्निफायर एन्ड द सिग्निफाइड। र सिग्निफायर भनेको के हो त भन्दा अब्जेक्ट हो। द्याट इज सो अब्जेक्ट हो। यस, एन्ड सिग्निफायर भनेको त्यसको मिनिङ हो के। यस, लाइक हियर this is what? Glass. This is called glass. Glass को पिक्चर देख्दा बित्तिकै हाम्रो माइन्डमा के हुन्छ त भन्दा एउटा कन्सेप्ट बनिहाल्छ के। That's why whenever we that glass represents the signifier, and whenever we say oh glass, This is used for drinking water. This is used for drinking tea. This is used for like any other, like putting something. That we can make the concept. We can make the meaning. We can connect with social and the cultural meanings of that one. So in this thing, यो लाइनले के देखाउँछ त भन्दा there is the interaction between signifier and the signified, है अब्जेक्ट र कन्सेप्ट बीचमा के हुन्छ इन्टरेक्सन हुन्छ भन्छ क्या है अब्जेक्ट र कन्सेप्ट बीचमा इन्टरेक्सन हुन्छ र त्यसले चाहिँ that talks about the sign more भन्छ. Did you get the concept or not? Do you understand? What is signifier? What is signified? What is sign? यो तीनटा कुरा चाहिँ हामीले बुझ्नु पर्यो. Like यो अब्जेक्ट के हो त भन्दा this is called the signifier. यो अब्जेक्ट सिग्निफायर हो. जब यसलाई चाहिँ ओ दिस इज द ग्लास भनेर हामी बनाउँछौँ हैन कन्सेप्ट हामी बनाउँछौँ त्यो कन्सेप्ट के हो त सिग्निफाइड हो कि कन्सेप्ट इज कल्ड द सिग्निफाइड भनेपछि just you can see like let me connect here like this signifier is what this is the signifier. You get my concept? And this signifier likewise here you can see and that could be signified that could be okay like that could be signified just like yeah we can write yeah we can write just like we can drink tea. Yes, we can drink tea जस्तो हामी भन्न सक्छौं we can drink tea, we can put water, we can do something just like we can drink tea, drink coffee, drink water, we can put something like we can put a pen on it, like in it, we can put stapler in it. That whenever we talk this thing, this is what concept. So the signifier is the object and signified is the concept or the meaning of that. Do you get my concept or not? Okay. Then after, now let's move, like we are nearly to end of the class. Then here, so semiotics or semiotic sign is small unit of meaning and signified is what? Means material or physical form of this sign, the object that exists, or this is called the mental image. Yes, this is called signifier. Then signified is what? Cultural or social concept that a signifier refers to what it means. That is called the concept. That's why the signifier is written with the physical object and mental image. Like when someone talks about you, oh, in the market, I found one jacket. A jacket भन्दा बित्तिकै हाम्रो माइन्डमा एक किसिमको मेन्टल इमेज बन्छ नि ज्याकेट यस्तो यहाँ चैन लाउने होला लामो बाउला भएको होला यतातिर पकेट होला that we can like oh I want to buy a coat coat oh coat means yes that must be in this way there might be buttons there might be one pocket here two pockets here that we make this generalization त्यो के हो त कन्सेप्ट हो नि त त्यो सिग्निफाइड हो के त्यो कोटलाई सम्झेर हामी जब त्यो बनाउँछौं त्यो के हुन्छ सिग्निफाइड हुन्छ त्यसकारण साइन लाइक डिफाइन केले गर्छ सिग्निफायर र सिग्निफाइड अन्डरस्ट्यान्ड दिस कन्सेप्ट भेरी वेल. Yes, that's why semiotics deal with this sign system. And this sign system is defined by the signifier and the signified. Okay, so this is all for today. If you have any questions, you can put. It's your time now. And so if you come on time at 7, we can finish on time because we have 1 hour. We started at 7:15, that's why we finish in 8:15. That's why please, by the next time, come on time and inform your friends to come on time. Now it's your turn. It's your turn now. Could you speak something? Do you have any questions?
Excuse me, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. So see ya.
Language behavior and language system के अलिक डिफ्रेन्टहरू के धेरै भनिदिनु न है
Okay, repeat again, please.
ल्याङ्ग्वेज बिहेभियर एन्ड ल्याङ्ग्वेज सिस्टम बिचको डिफिनेसनहरू के धेरै के डिफ्रेन्ट
Okay, so whenever you are talking about language system and the language behaviors, like I think you are you want some bullets. The difference is, yes, you want some bullets. This is this, this is this. So before that, just I would like to refer you. Just start making distinction from you. Just like, see, you are the system. You are the system, and what you do are your behaviors. But how do you distinguish? Just try to explore. And like I will also put this material, whatever you tore in bullet points, I will put the material in your Google Classroom. There no worry for that. But before that, just create yourself. Yes, create yourself like system. Just suppose you are the system yourself. And your doings are the behaviors. Then how could you distinguish yourself? Yes, you know these things. You know these things, and you do what you do. What you know and what you do. Make the two columns. Do you understand, Resma? Do you understand my point? Make two columns about you. Yes, make two columns about you. In one column, write down there I know. In another column, write down there I do. And what I know and what I do, if you make these two columns, then after what I know, that comes under the systems. What I do, that comes under what? Your behaviors. Please just create from this side one. But for reading material, just no worry. I will put this material, these distinctions in your Google Classroom there, and you can read the one. But the major difference is what? Language system is the guideline and language behavior is the activities. This is the guideline for the language, means what is the whole system of the language. But there, what I do within that system, that's the behavior, what I do within that system. Right? What kinds of behaviors, what kinds of activities I do within that system. That's why language system is general and language behaviors are specific or determined actualization. And in other sense, language system is the overall representation of the language components, and language behavior is the representation of that language units in our actualization in the real fields one. So with this reference, please